All right, guys, good morning. I'm so excited about our first live Q&A. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and you guys gave me some great questions. I have lots of questions that came in, a few that just came in this morning. So I'm so excited to answer you guys' questions. And hopefully you get a lot of value out of this. So let's get started. So I figured we would have these live Q&As maybe like once a month. But if there is more of a demand for that, if you guys are bringing in lots of questions, then I'll have it more often. This is you guys' group. This is for you guys to get support and what you need to live a better healthier lifestyle and do the things that you want to do. So you guys let me know if once a month is good, or if you are if I'm having lots of questions come in, then we'll do it more often. So let's just see how this goes. But first, I wanted to talk about an encouraging story that I had come in. You guys may have saw me post about this last week in our group. And it was about a client that I talked to last week. And I've been working with her for a while now. And she had quite a breakthrough last week. And so over the last several months, we've been working on her blood sugar because when she started working with me, she was in the pre-diabetic range of her blood sugar. And that's why she wanted to start working with me, because she wanted to get that down so it didn't turn into type 2 diabetes, and so she wouldn't have more of an issue. She wanted to reverse that. So we started working together, and she has made some great progress since we've started working together. She's gone down several clothing sizes. Her stress is her stress is better. She has a lot more energy, and her blood sugar has gone down significantly than what it was when we first started working together. And but she would still have like some higher days, and we couldn't get it to like have consistent, like under 100 consistently all the time. And but last week we really saw an improvement in that. And so much so that she thought her blood sugar monitor was broken. She thought she needed to get a new blood sugar monitor. And I just thought that was so funny. I was like, "No, you've been doing these things. You've been consistent with these things, that these strategies that I've been giving you, and now it's paying off. Now you're seeing, so you had some great wins. Clothing sizes went down. You've lost weight. You've got more energy. You're sleeping better. All these things. Her inflammation has gone way down. Like, she's not inflamed like she used to be. And she's had all these wins, but her blood sugar was still kind of, it would go down, it would go under 100, and then it would go back up. And last week was when she finally saw it be consistently in the 70s and 80s, and that's really where we want it. We want it under 100 most of the time, right? And but the point of it was that she was finally, after months and months, it's probably been almost a year, you guys. It's finally showing up in big ways, right? Her consistency is finally showing up in big ways. And I think about it I think of her story or as a weight I think of anybody's weight loss journey or health journey as like going to college. You know, we go to college and we take all these classes for 4 years or more, and we have these small wins along the way. So we pass exams, we pass classes. But at the end of being consistent with all of that, with going to class, with passing our tests, our exams, doing our projects, and um, at the end of all those consistent small wins, we get the big prize, right? We get our degree. We get something that we have forever, and no one can take that away from us. And I kind of think of it, your health the same way. Once you learn what you need to learn to get yourself to a healthy place, no one can take that away from you. You have that forever. That is your prize. And then you're armed with what you need to go out there and live a healthy lifestyle. And if you're consistent with that, then you have a healthy lifestyle, and you feel good, and um you have the confidence because you know, you like who you've become. You like that you're healthy. You like who you are. And so it's like that, going to college, uh, being consistent with all these things, and then getting your degree. So that's kind of what I think about it. And I think our society is, in our society, we're really programmed to want everything fast or as quick as possible. But lasting health just doesn't work that way, right? Um, yes, you can go on crash diets, you can go on a restrictive plan, you can lose weight really fast. You can, that is possible. But the thing about those plans are, they're not long term, they're temporary. Most people go back to the way they were before, because it's too restrictive. Oh, good morning. I love being healthy and being me doing it. Yes. And you guys, I'm just going to remind you, because I'm recording this on StreamYard. I don't know. All I see is Facebook users, so I don't know who's commenting, but I do see your comments. I just want to let you know that. Unless you have a StreamYard account, I could see your name if you're signed into them. But anyway, but good morning. Thank you for joining. Um, but all those crash diets and restrictive plans. Oh, Mary, good morning. I got your questions. I can't wait to answer them. Um, but they don't give us long-term results, right? So long-term results come when you can find something that is not too restrictive. It's not something that you can only do temporarily. It's something that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life, right? Because if it's too restrictive, if it's unrealistic, if it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, then how consistent will you stay with that? Probably not very consistent, because it's too much of a challenge to fit it in your day, to fit it in your life. And so, really, long term, lasting health um, is way more achievable if we take it slow and steady. It really is. And I know that we don't like to wait. I know that we like everything right away, and, we don't want to be patient. But it really does. If you take it slow and steady, it will last way longer. It will be more permanent. Um, and so my client is seeing that now. She's been consistently working on this for almost a year now, and she's finally getting to where she wants to be. And it's really exciting. So I'm really proud of her, and I just wanted to share that with you to encourage you that I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to say, well, I've been doing this 3 months or 6 months and it's still not working. It must not be for me. No, just keep being consistent with it. Especially if you have someone like a mentor or someone that knows, like who's been through it, like who's been through a health journey, who's been through what you're going through. That's proof right there that you can do it, that it does work. You just have to be consistent with it. Okay. It took me a good year before, of being consistent before I really found a good place, with my health and everything. But it took consistency. Um, so I also want you to get out of this that I don't want you to try everything at one time. Okay? If you try to go all in and try try to eat healthy, change your diet, start exercising, start meditating, start trying to get more sleep, and all these things that add up to a healthy lifestyle, if you try to go at them all at one time, you're going to end up burning out. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be most likely way too much for you to fit into your lifestyle all at once. So, the better thing to do is take it slow and steady. Work on one thing, get that down. Get it down, get it to where it's not even it's effortless. Like you preparing healthy meals and not snacking and stuff like that. Get that down. Then move on to exercise. Then move on to working on your sleep. Whatever order it is, there's no right or wrong. It's just whatever you feel like, you know, you want to work on first. What would be um sometimes it's starting on the easiest thing first, that will get that momentum going and make you want to, like, okay, I got this down. Now what else can I do? So you just really it's personalized. You really have to like figure out what is best for you and just try one thing at a time. And that's going to get you better results, more long-term results than you trying to do everything at once, getting burnout on it, getting frustrated, and then quitting. Um, so if you've been working on your health for a while and not seeing results, not seeing the results you thought that you would by now, just be patient and don't give up. And if you do that, you will get there. Okay. All right. So that's enough of that. Let's get into these questions. Let me get a sip of water. Okay. And if you didn't submit a question and you want to ask one here, just put it in the comments and we will get to it. But I had several questions. So some I got last week. So I made notes so I wouldn't like forget some things. So I'm kind of going to be reading a little bit, but then some just came in today. So I'll be just going off the top of my head for those. But so hopefully it all makes sense to you guys. But I like making notes with these lives because I feel like if I do, then I don't forget to tell you guys things. So when you see me looking over, it's just because I've got my notes pulled up so I won't forget like my points and what to tell you guys, because I feel like it's more valuable when I don't forget things. So, okay, so the first question I got was submitted through the DMs. Someone direct messaged me, and her question was, I have a stressful job and I know it's taking a toll on my health. What do you recommend? And so I love this question, and I love that she recognizes that, hey, health is not just about what you eat or if you exercise. It's also about stress. And she recognizes that her stressful job is taking a toll on her health. So what I recommend is, um, let me just first say this. We live in a stressful world. We cannot just say, "Oh, well, my job is stressful. I'm going to quit my job." We can't do that. That's not realistic. And it's silly to think that, because there's stress at every job, right? There's stress everywhere you go. We live in a stressful world. So it's hard to get away from it. But there are things you can do to manage your stress, to lower your stress, to get ahead of it so when you are stressed at work, it doesn't affect you as much as it would if you were not doing these things, right? So that is really the key. It's not to eliminate all stress, you know? Um, that's just unrealistic. It's not possible. And so that is really the thing that I would tell you is um to get ahead of your stress as much as you can. And then when stress comes, there's also some things you can do. So, the first thing I would recommend is to take deep breaths. Take deep breaths whenever you feel stressed, even when you don't feel stressed. If there's a moment, like sometimes when I'm getting ready, doing my hair, doing my makeup in the morning, I just take some deep breaths. When I'm filling up my water bottle in the morning, I might take some deep breaths. And I try to go outside in the morning every day and get some fresh air, fresh morning air. I don't care how cold it is, I do it, and I take some deep breaths, you know, and I look at that morning sunlight, and that really helps with my stress level. It helps prepare me for my stressful day. So that's what I would say. And even if you're at work or whatever you're doing during the day, I'm not saying you have to go outside and like take deep breaths, but just the act of taking deep breaths, being mindful of your breath, making sure you are breathing, because when we're stressed, we tend to hold our breath. And so just being mindful of, hey, am I breathing? Am I taking a deep breath every now and then? Just being mindful of that can really help your stress. Especially like if you're at a high stress job, who's going to really notice if you take a deep breath? Like who's going to notice that? Or even if you when you take your bathroom breaks or your lunch break, do it then. Do it when you're getting ready in the morning, do it in the shower. It doesn't matter. Just be mindful of if you're taking deep breaths or not, okay? Because when we're stressed, we tend to hold our breath. So that's the first thing I would recommend. And then uh, a lot of times what I do, if I'm super stressed, I will try to go outside and look at nature and get fresh air, because just looking at nature, even if you can just look out a window and look at trees, look at the birds, look at flowers, look at the grass. If you can just see nature, that calms you down. You know, it's better if you can like go outside and do it, because the fresh air and the vitamin D and all that will help your stress level. But if you can't, try to just look out a window. And one thing I used to do when I worked at a hospital, it was like 45 minutes away from my house. I would roll down my window just to get some fresh air, not the whole time, because like when I was on the interstate and stuff, obviously that was too windy. But when I was like just leaving my house or something and I was still in the neighborhood, I would roll down my window a little bit, even if it was hot or cold, and that would give me some fresh air, some fresh air to breathe in before work. And then you could do it after work too, before you get going, like on the interstate or whatever. But that's one thing I used to do when I had to commute to work. And then the last thing I would recommend for stress is just uh do something enjoyable or relaxing at least a few times a week. So reading is great. A lot of people really that's really good to like help you relax, especially if it's not like a suspenseful book, if it's like more, you know, relaxing. Painting, coloring, meditating is great. I do 5 or 10 minutes of meditation, a few times a week, and that really helps. So all of these ways can lower your stress, but really anything can be meditation. Anything that relaxes you can be meditation. A bath, just doing anything relaxing that you find enjoyable, that you look forward to, that helps you calm down. Some people even, I've even heard some people, they like to bake, or they like to like cook and stuff, and that's really relaxing. It's not for me. I get stressed when I have to cook, especially like for a bunch of people. That's not relaxing to me. But it is for some people, and that's great. Those are all forms of meditation. When you can do something really enjoyable that you love to do, that you look forward to, that is meditation. And any form of meditation will um, will help with your stress level. So hopefully that helps for your stress. When you're at work, just if all you can do is take some deep breaths a few times a day, just try that. And then try some relaxing activities at least a few times a week. All right. So the next question I got was, how do I stop overeating? And this is really common, isn't it? It's really common for us. So since I don't know any details, like I don't know any details of why this person is overeating, because usually if someone would say they're an overeater, I would ask several questions to like get an idea of what's going on with them. But since I don't know any details, I will just explain some common reasons that we overeat, and then I'll give you some solutions. So, a lot of times we overeat because we're deficient in essential nutrients. So, what are essential nutrients? They are these are the things that are essential for us to be healthy and to live and to survive. Um, they are essential for us to live optimally, let me say, because we can still not have these things and still be alive. We just won't be optimal. We won't have optimal health. So hopefully that makes sense. But the essential nutrients are protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water, and carbs, if that depends on how active you are and your metabolism, because some people need, they really do. They have a high metabolism, they're very active, and they need more carbs, because carbs are our body uses carbs for energy, right? So if you are an athlete, you may need more carbs. If you are very sedentary, like you sit all day and you barely get movement in, if you're getting under 5,000 steps a day, you probably don't need that many carbs, because your body's not using that much energy. But it also has a lot to do with other things too, not just activity. Like there's so many things that um, that really, that if you that determine whether you need carbs or not. Like how much not capacity, brain power you're using, and things like that. So if you're a surgeon and you have to be super focused, well, you may require a little more carbs because you're using your brain like a lot more than others. Not saying that we don't, we all use our brain, but there's just so many things that depends on, right? And our metabolism and how active we are two of the big things um, that we need carbs for. So, let me say those again: protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, water, and maybe carbs, depending on your activity and metabolism. So, if you're not getting enough of these nutrients, your body won't feel satisfied, and it won't give you hunger signals. And it will give you hunger signals until it gets enough of these nutrients. So, another reason let me talk about this a little more. So, um, if you don't get enough, say you don't get enough vitamins, like you're not getting enough vitamin D in your diet, your body is going to signal, "Hey, I'm not getting enough of this vitamin." And it's going to give you hunger signals, and your body gives you hunger signals, but you're the one who has to figure out, is this because I need some water? Is this because I need some minerals? Is this because I need protein or vitamins? You're the one who has to figure that out. And a lot of times the way you can figure that out is, because I will do that to myself. I'm like, I just ate, 2 hours ago. I'm hungry. What's going on? And I realize, oh, I must not have ate enough, fat or protein, or I must didn't get enough vitamins. I need what, because you can kind of tell like what I know there's been times when I'm like, oh, I thought that I had more chicken than that. And I don't, and I know that it's not enough. And then I'm hungry. Like, um, so I kind of know, okay, I'm deficient in protein because I did not have enough. I didn't have as much as I thought I did, right? So you kind of have to play detective with that. So I hope that explains that. So you will overeat if you are deficient in any of these essential nutrients. And then another reason we overeat is because of hormone imbalances. If our hormones are out of balance, then it can cause cravings and hunger. And the way we fix hormone imbalances is to eat whole foods and less processed foods. So get a good balance there. Like whole foods are going to be more nutrient dense. And so they're going to help your hormones stay balanced. But if you're eating processed foods, a lot of processed foods, that's going to deplete your hormones, is going to deplete your vitamins and things like that. And then, so you want to make sure you are eating more whole foods and less processed foods. And then you want to get enough sleep, manage your stress, like I talked about earlier, and get some sunlight every day. So these things right here are going to help your hormones balance out. They're going to, if you do have a hormone imbalance, these things will help your hormones rebalance or stay balanced. So let me go over those again. Eat more whole foods and less processed foods. Get enough sleep. Manage stress. And get sunlight every day. And this is going to keep your hormones in balance or get them rebalanced if they're out of balance. And one more reason why, one more common reason, there's lots of reasons we overeat, but one more common reason that I see we overeat is not being mindful when we eat. And this is something big that I work on with my clients, is mindful eating, not being distracted when you eat. So if you've never heard of mindful eating, it's really just bringing awareness to the food you're eating, right? So when you eat, try to focus on the food and don't be distracted by your phone or TV or what's going on around you. Just be focused on your food. Notice how your food looks, notice how it smells, notice the tastes of your food, the flavors, and eat slowly and enjoy every bite. And if you can be consistent with that, with the mindful eating and really being intentional about like what am I eating, being focused on it and not being on your phone or watching TV or being distracted, then that will help you not overeat because if you're just shoveling it in and you're watching TV or you're scrolling on your phone and you're just like mindlessly eating, then you're going to eat a lot more than you would have because you're not focusing on your food, but you're also you're gonna tend to snack more. You're gonna need to snack more because you didn't fully enjoy that meal. You didn't taste it. You didn't take the time to focus on it, be mindful, and you know, uh, really enjoy it. If you don't enjoy your food, if you just shovel it in, you're going to be one of those people that tend to snack more because your body wasn't satisfied because you didn't make that connection to your food. I hope that makes sense. So if you start practicing mindful eating at least one meal a day, that's what I usually have people start with. Just do it, try it for one meal a day. Um, and then you'll eventually stop overeating. And you may need to, or you may notice that you don't have to snack as much. So practice mindful eating at least one meal a day and then build up from there. And you will notice a difference if you stay consistent with that. All right, guys. So that answers that. Okay, what's the next question I had? Okay, this is a good one. What do you do if you go to dinner at someone else's house and it's full of carbs and sugar or, full of stuff that you don't want to really eat right now? I think basically is what she's saying. So when this happens, because I go through this with my clients a lot of times. They're, especially around the holidays and stuff, they're like, what do I do? I don't know what I should do when I have to go to a party or a get together or whatever. So what I always say is you have a choice. Don't make this some big dramatic thing, okay? We have to learn to live like this is our lifestyle. And if we want to go to get-togethers and go to dinners with people and go to parties and things like that, we have to learn to do that. You can't just sit at home and never go anywhere. I mean, you can, but is that a life you want? Not me. Uh, so so I always tell my clients, you have a choice. Because I don't want you to ever think that because you're on a health journey that something is off limits. No, it's not. It's just a choice. And so your choices are you can decide to splurge, you can decide to fast, or you can decide to eat before or after that dinner. Eat ahead of time, eat after you get back. But it's all a choice, and there's no right or wrong choice. There's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just what feels good to you. And so I'm going to explain these a little bit more in a minute, but I wanted to add, like, if you are going to someone's house for a dinner or a get together and if you know what they'll be serving at that dinner, it will make your decision easier. So if you know that person, like if it's one of your friends, call them up, text them, say, hey, can you just tell me what's on the menu? What are you going to be serving? Because I just, I kind of want to know ahead of time so I can make plans. Um, and so if you can do that and whether it's, like say it's your favorite Mexican food or something, and you're like, oh, yes, I definitely want to splurge on that. Or say it's fish or something, and you're not that big on fish, and you're like, oh no, I'll eat before I go, or I just won't eat. I'll just, you know, talk to people or whatever. See what I mean? Like, if you can know what they're serving at the dinner, then that will make your decision easier, because then you can decide, is it worth splurging on? Is it not worth it to you? And there's no right or wrong answer. Just do what feels good to you. Um, so that's what I would suggest if you can know before. But if you don't know what they're serving, then you can just like say, okay, well, I don't know what they're serving, but I do want to enjoy a meal with these people, and so I'm going to splurge. I'm gonna have this meal with them, and then I'm gonna get back on my healthy eating um, the next meal, and that's fine. Or you can choose to say, okay, you know, I don't really know what they're serving, and I don't really want to go off plan that day, and so I'm gonna choose to not eat it, or I'm gonna choose to eat before I go, or something like that. Um, so I want you to just do what feels good to you. Uh, so if you decide you feel like you feel good about splurging, then that just means that you aren't going to worry about the food that's there, right? And then you'll get back on track. But you could also choose to fast so you won't be tempted, because I know there's certain people that they do better if they just say, they set a line in the sand and they say, I'm going to fast through this, because it's better if I am just not tempted than to go there and say, well, I'm going to try to find something healthy to eat there. Sometimes it's easier for certain people just to say, I'm just going to fast. I'm just going to not eat that meal. Um, and then there's some people that do fasting on a regular basis and say the dinner's at 8 p.m., but you cut off your eating at 6 or 7. And so it's not in your window of eating, then don't eat. But you can also break that. You don't have to be so strict about it either and say, oh, I can never eat dinner after 7 p.m. You can. It's going to be fine. You just get back on track, the next day. So it's really just thinking about what feels good to you in that situation. And then um, if you are fasting, you can just have conversations with people, and don't worry about eating. And if it comes up, you can just say, I already ate, or I'm not hungry, or I don't eat after this certain time, or that you're just choosing not to eat that kind of food at the moment. And people should respect that. And they usually do. And it's usually not even that big a deal. Like they're not really paying that much attention to you. If everybody's there and talking and everything, they may not even notice you're not eating, right? So that's one option. And then, you could always eat before you go or when you get home, and choose to eat a healthy meal at home. And then again, if it comes up while you're not eating, you just say, you're trying to make healthy choices, or you've already eaten. Something like that, just tell them the truth. It just shouldn't be that big a deal. So it's probably more of a deal to you than it will be to them. So I hope that makes sense. And you guys, I've done all of these options when I've had to go to people's houses and go to get-togethers and things. I've done all these options, and it's never been an issue. I've never had anybody like, you know, say anything really. They don't even notice. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. The next question I got, and you guys like feel free to chime in if I need to explain anything better. Um, if everything's making sense, or even just say hi if you're joining me. Just let me know. All right, so my next question was, how can I enjoy my favorite Italian foods and keep my blood sugar balanced? That's great. I love this question. Okay, so there's a few things you can do. So if you want like the Italian flavor, but not a bunch of carbs, then you can just ask for the meat and veggies without the pasta. And there's plenty of times I've done this because my kids, like for their birthday and stuff, they love to go to Olive Garden. Like that is they get to choose where they go out to eat on their birthday. And most of the time, that's where they want to go. And most of the time, that's on a day when I'm not wanting to have a splurge meal. And so it's not a big deal. I've gotten like just their meatballs before, where it's like a starter, like a hors d'oeuvre or whatever, where you get like three big meatballs, and I'll eat that and order a salad, and there you go, and it's so good. Their meatballs are so good, and I don't even miss the pasta. So I do that. I've also gotten their salmon before with the broccoli. It's always delicious. It's their salmon, they do really good. I really like it. And then they also have like a sirloin steak. So these Italian restaurants, they do have options. You don't have to do the pasta if you don't want to, but you can. You can if you want to. And we're going to talk about that too. So if you are not wanting to, uh, so she's wanting to keep her blood sugar balanced. So we're talking about that. Um, so if you don't want to do the low carb option, like the meat and the vegetables, then another way you can keep your blood sugar balanced, if you still want the pasta, just split it with somebody. Like order the pasta and have the like one serving of it, or order, like if you have spaghetti or something, order it with double meat and then just half the pasta with someone else, the noodles. And then that way you will get like a serving of pasta, but you won't go overboard eating like two or three servings. And then you'll also get your protein in, and that will help balance out your blood sugar when you eat the protein with the pasta. So that's one of the worst things you can do is eat a big bowl of pasta with like no meat, no protein, no healthy fats or anything like that, no fiber. If it's just like plain white pasta and that's what you eat, that's going to spike your blood sugar really high. So you want to have some kind of buffer for that, like protein, fat, fiber, something, and that will help keep your blood sugar more stable. But also, portion it. Don't eat three servings of pasta just because that's what they bring you, because they do. You guys all know that they give you big portions of pasta, um, and just because it's one big bowl or one big plate of pasta does not mean it's one serving. It's usually three or four. So just half that, or just eat half a cup or fourth a cup of pasta and eat the like meat sauce or whatever. and that will help keep your blood sugar balanced. Um, and you guys probably know this trick, and I do this, especially at like somewhere like Olive Garden if I'm gonna have the pasta. Um, if you can't split it with someone, then get a to-go box, right? Say, order your food and then say, I want a to-go box with that, and put it in a to-go box, and you can eat it another day when you want to splurge or whatever. But this will help you keep your blood sugar more balanced, if you can just do some of these strategies. But usually, Italian restaurants, if you are not wanting to have a splurge meal, you can get some kind of seafood or steak option. They usually have that. So, and they usually have like salad, broccoli, asparagus, things like that. Zucchini, I've seen different things like that where you don't have to um, splurge on the pasta if you don't want to. And this is if you're trying to keep your blood sugar balanced. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. The other questions I got in today, I have 3 more. You guys, if you have any more, leave them in the comments. Okay. Mary, I think these are your questions. Can you eat too much protein? Oh, this is so good. Okay. Yes, you can eat too much protein. Um, and if you do go overboard on protein, then you may see your blood sugar increase. You may see your weight go up. But so it is possible, but it's not very likely. Most people most people are not eating enough protein. They're under eating it. And I'm telling you, it's like when I eat 3 meals a day, like I get my protein needs in, but like I really have to be intentional about it. Like I really have to make sure I'm eating enough. So while you can eat too much protein, it's highly unlikely that you are. Most people, almost all of my clients that I've ever had, when we look at how much protein they're eating, they're not eating enough. And once they add enough is when they start losing weight, is when they start balancing their blood sugar and all that. So, um, hopefully that answers that. But if you say you eat like 3 meals a day and you're eating 30 grams at each meal, that's 90 grams of protein. That is the minimum that most of us should eat, like as adults. Kids are different, but because they're smaller. But if you're eating 90 grams of protein a day, like 30 grams at each meal, you're eating the minimum for an adult. So, and that can be hard to get sometimes. So, yeah, you can eat too much protein, but it's very unlikely. Hopefully that answers that. Okay, and then when is the best time to exercise? So anytime that you will exercise is the best time to exercise. Now, for some people, if they don't do it in the morning, they won't do it. For some people, that's not an issue. Like they have a routine. I exercise before I go home from work, or I exercise after, after lunch. And if you make that part of your routine, then it shouldn't be an issue. But there's no best time really. The best time is the time that you will stay consistent with. Um, so if there's a certain time that is good for you, do it then. Just whatever you do, stay consistent with it. I don't think you should lose sleep over exercise. Let me say that because I've learned that lesson. I used to do it. I used to be that 4 a.m. person, 4:30. I'd get up and work out, and I was losing sleep, not getting enough sleep, and I didn't realize that it was so bad for me. So I've since then changed that, and I'm still exercising. It's just in the afternoon. It's um after work and everything. And then I do my exercise. So, and it hadn't been an issue because I'm committed to it. It's a priority for me. I kind of like it's usually every day around 3 or 4 o'clock. I'll walk the dog, I'll lift some weights, whatever, I alternate. I do yoga. And it's usually around 3 or 4 o'clock, unless like on the weekends, I'll do it more in the morning. Like Saturday, I usually do it in the morning because I can do that. Like everybody sleeps in and everything. So I don't have to wake up at like 4 in the morning to do it. But to answer your question, there's no best time to work out. The best time is the time that you will do it and be consistent with it. So, um, and then, okay, I think one last question. Can you still lose weight if you eat enough protein without exercising? Can you still lose weight if you eat enough protein? You're welcome. If you eat enough protein without exercising, yes, of course you can. You don't have exercising is not for weight loss. That is one big misconception about exercising. Exercising, if you want to lose weight, I would not say start with exercise. Exercise is for so many other reasons. So it has so many other benefits, but it is not really for weight loss. I would not count on that, for weight loss. Exercising is for um, overall health, like stronger bones, stronger muscles. It's great for your mental health. Like, I think exercising is equivalent to, um, medication for mental health. Um, it, um, it's just good for it's good to sweat. So it's good to release toxins, to detox. It's a natural way to detox instead of like going on these cleanses and things. If you're sweating and you're exercising, that is a natural detoxification you can do. So exercise is it is essential. It really is. It's essential for a overall healthy lifestyle. Because you want to have strong bones, strong muscles, strong mental health, um, and all these things, but is not essential to lose weight. There are plenty of people who lose weight all the time and they don't do any exercise. So, really, the key to losing weight is, getting your diet right, getting the foods that you eat. And that's different for everyone, like we've talked about before. So, you know, the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, let's say essential nutrients, the right amount is different for everyone because of our hormones, our metabolism, our lifestyle, our age. All these things play into how much of that we need. So that's why these one size fits all diets, yes, you can lose weight, but others will have more results, I guess, than other people. And that's because your body may react differently. Other people may react better to this kind of diet than these other people because we're all different. Um, so, so yes, you can totally lose weight if you eat healthy and eat enough protein without exercising. But I always recommend movement. And Exercise is movement, but a lot of times I say movement because exercise scares people. Because when you think of exercise, it's like, really, it sounds more intense. And all I want is for you to move your body. That is what's important, is moving your body because that's what we are naturally meant to do. Um, so anyways, yes, you can lose weight without exercising, but I don't recommend that. And I don't recommend exercising to lose weight. I hope this makes sense. Uh, you can lose weight without exercising, but exercising is really essential for a healthy lifestyle and optimal health. I'll put it that way. I hope that makes sense. Yes, I know it helps with my liver, heart, and cleansing. Yes, it does. You're talking about exercise, right? She said, yes, I know it helps with my liver, heart, and cleansing. That exercise is a natural detoxification um, strategy. So, and you walk every day, Mary, so that's great. So you are helping your yes. You're helping your body detoxify when you exercise. So that is one great benefit. And we should all be trying to sweat and detoxify, help our bodies because we live in a very toxic world. So I can always do something on that. I probably don't need to get into all that today. Toxins are a big thing. That would probably take me another hour to explain. Yeah, I knew you walked a lot. So yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good. You're doing the things. But you guys let me know because I can talk about toxins. That's a big area um and a big reason why a lot of us can't lose weight because we're toxic. We have toxic overload. Um but anyways, that is all the questions I had come in. So if you guys have any more, I can wait just a minute and see if any more pop up. You're welcome. For next fasting. What do you mean, Mary, for next fasting? You're going to practice fasting next? Yes. Yeah. And actually fasting helps with your toxic load also. It helps with a lot of things like anti-aging and things. It's just you have to do it right. You have to know what you're doing. And I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on that coming up. I'm filming it, I think today. I think I'm filming that one today, so it'll be out in a few weeks. Yes, toxins and cleansing and fasting. Okay. Yeah, I can do one on toxins. I can do a live on toxins. That will be fun. Oh, good question. How much fasting should you do? It really is individual. Um, the most popular one is 16:8, but the thing that I see a lot of, I'm getting ready to do a YouTube video on this, but the thing I see a lot is people get so strict on their fasting times. So if they're hungry and they've been fasting for 15 hours, they will not, even though they're hungry and their body is telling them they're hungry, they will not eat before that 16 hours of fasting is up. So they're ignoring their body and their body is starving instead of fasting. Does that make sense? So I do fast, but I listen to my body. And if I say, I'm going to skip breakfast today because I'm not hungry, um, And then I eat when I say, well, I'm going to eat lunch, but lunch isn't, I get hungry at 10 and I say, well, I was going to fast till lunch. I eat. And then I have some days where I don't eat breakfast because I'm not hungry. Because say I ate a big dinner that that night before, like like usually when I eat like a big steak or something, when we make steak, I am not hungry because I had a lot of protein in that meal and I'm not hungry the next day. And I've had times where I don't eat lunch until 2 o'clock because I'm not hungry and I listen to my body. So I think fasting is great for toxins, for like balancing blood sugar, for anti-aging, and they even say it's good for like cancer if you have cancer, or for preventing cancer and things. There's so many great benefits to fasting, but you have to listen to your body. And you can't be so rigid about your fasting window and ignore your body's signals, and then it goes into starvation mode. Um, and I'm going to explain more of that like in my YouTube video. But you know, I just think there's a really fine line between fasting and starving yourself. And you really have to understand what you're doing when you fast and not be so rigid about your fasting schedule that you are ignoring your body's signals, you know. So, because that's going to get you um, nutrient deficient and start creating disease and imbalances, hormone imbalances, disease, health issues, things like that. So, fasting is not something um, that you should just do willy nilly. You really need to know what you're doing. Anyways, that was probably way too much, but you guys, hopefully this helped you. I really had fun. I like doing these Q&As. Um, so we'll do them about once a month unless you guys have a lot of questions that come in. We'll start doing them more often if I see the need for that. So I had fun, you guys. I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope it was valuable. I know I get talking on these subjects because I could talk all day on this stuff. So, anyways, I hope you guys had just as much fun as I did. And if you have questions, if you're watching the replay or something, and you have questions, put them in the comments, and I will save them for our next Q&A. But if it's something I feel like you need answered right away, I'll DM you too, and then I'll have them for the next Q&A also. And don't be afraid to ask your questions. If you don't want your name out there, if you want it to be anonymous, just let me know that, or just DM me, and it's not a problem, because I had plenty of people do that. Like, they don't really want their name out there. They just want to get their question answered, and I understand that. So don't be afraid to ask your questions. DM me, leave a comment, whatever you feel comfortable doing. And I want to help you guys. So whatever questions you have, just let me know. All right, guys, that's all. This was fun. I won't hold you up any longer. And I will see you next Tuesday. All right, guys, bye.